Now, so if you've just logged into Asphalt 9 and noticed quite a few things look a bit different, I said I'd just throw together a video and go over some of the stuff that's changed, just where you may have missed it or not noticed it just yet with this new patch to the game. And yeah, this is the patch which will bring in the Legends Pass, which is sort of a battle pass, as well as a bunch of other things. That pass isn't available to purchase yet in-game, but I'll kind of give over an explanation of what that is if you haven't experienced one of those already in a game, and what it brings to Asphalt and what it changes and what it doesn't change. One of the kind of most noticeable differences across pretty much all the events is a load of the ones that were 2 tickets before are now, after being reduced down to 1 ticket. So your expert, amateur and advanced races are all 1 ticket events. Weekly competition has been brought from 3 down to 2, and likewise the events, which include the Beast, Cyan and those set of cars, have been reworked. So now they're 2 ticket events, but also the cycle of these has been changed around by quite a bit. Previously, if you were chasing down this, the end result was the Tryon Nemesis. And once you got to the Tryon day, weirdly enough, it needed the W Motors Fenrir car. But yeah, obviously that was no longer available to players. So now the way the order of these events is going to go is you've got your Beast X, the CN Concept, and the Force, which is the same as how it currently is. But then you're going to go into the Egoista on the following day after that to get some blueprints for the Egoista. And then the final day will be for the Tryon Nemesis. But the Epic Import Parts portion of that then is going to require you use the Zenvo rather than actually using the Fenrir W Motorsports, which has been taken out of the game and is no longer available to players. So that's kind of unfair for people who are starting off playing. Weren't able to actually get access to that way of getting the Epic Import Parts, so there was no like pathway to get those. Now these races have all been changed slightly in terms of like the actual credit payout for those, and they have been reduced quite a bit. The expert race is probably the heaviest hit, not just because of the fact that it now is 150k for racing solo instead of being the 200k, but the club rewards is drastically reduced down from 100,000 down to just 10,000. Weirdly enough, the amateur race has been probably affected like the very least of this, because yeah, you have like your 30k credits still earned from racing solo in that, but now just 4k for the club rewards. So it does mean the fact that smaller clubs should have an easier time of getting those rewards, but yeah, the reward for them is actually nerfed significantly over what it used to be before. Again, these are just 1 ticket event now though, instead of being 2 each. Now, the weekly competition has been reworked as well somewhat. The rewards for it are thankfully still left the same. So 100 tokens for your top 1% and your 100k credits and your 10 import parts. The main thing that's been changed with this is the fact of 1 ticket less to actually enter the competition, and also now it's completely limited to just D-class cars. So there's no more AMG GTS inside here. So yeah, it'll just shuffle about that leaderboard and probably give a little advantage to people who have the Furai. I'm not too sure actually, but the TVR Griffith has one of the highest top speeds of any of the D-class cars, so that's likely going to be the go-to guy. But if you're in doubt, as of right now, there's still just people logging in and shuffling about. But if you're wondering what's the best thing to use, easiest way to do it is check your leaderboard, see what the top player is, and yeah, it's almost all going to be TVR Griffith, I would imagine. Maybe a slight shuffling of some other cars inside there, but you'd have to just kind of see how it works out. But yeah, the fastest, like just straight line speed car is that TVR. If you've got access to the gold version of that, it's going to be really a top contender with the weekly competition now that the C-class cars have been removed from the lineup that can be used for this. One of the other major changes with this patch though is the nerfing and rebalancing of certain cars. So one of the biggest ones in that, which is well overdue, is the Ferrari FXXK, which has been so long overdue for a nerf on the acceleration, because yeah, like it still has the same stat on the car, which is 83, But if you look at it, like that 83 acceleration should be way slower than, say, something like the Egoista, which, if you've ever launched off the starting grid with an Egoista and the FXK, you'll know that the FXK is faster than everything else off the grid. That has always been a mistake. That should not have been this case with the car. So, like, it should be now more in line with pretty much where it is on the grid, which is a very, very low class S rank car. So, yeah. The days of people using that inside multiplayer to just boost ahead at the start of decent cars and then try and stay there by 316 are hopefully over. Unfortunately, one of the ones I love to use, the Chevy Corvette Grand Sport, also got a fairly significant nerf to its nitro stat is completely being reduced back down to normal levels of what it should be realistically, because that car was something that before could hang in a nitro state almost indefinitely with even a moderate amount of nitro management, and now that's been changed. So yeah, that car is a mid-range B-class car, so still good, but not as good as it was previously. This car did receive a nerf. Now, and there's two others then that received significant enough buffs. One of those is the Sin R1, which has had its handling and acceleration increased to bring it more in line with a mid to high ranged B-class car, because before its handling was just rendering it completely useless. So if you have the Sin, now it should be a more viable thing to actually get some use out of. But yeah, another one that it's getting a bit of a buff is this Ford GT, where it's getting a handling increase, because before, realistically, this car couldn't turn corners properly at all. It was just effectively useless in any events other than ones where it was the only choice. But yeah, now the handling is brought a bit up to let it actually be able to turn corners a small bit. It's still a fairly low B-class car, but now it should actually be a semi-usable B-class car at least. So again, if you've got that in the garage, maybe give it a look and see, because it should have changed. I haven't given these cars a test drive yet. I've heard people complaining about the FXK already, but yeah, I haven't gotten to test drive them yet. But as far as I know, Sin and Ford GT gotten better, and the Grand Sport and FXK being reduced. I have actually played with the Grand Sport already. That one's definitely got a nitro nerf. Now, depending on your garage level as well, you might notice that there's a whole lot more blueprints for cars inside in the actual Legends store, and even inside in the trade coin portion of it. So I've got my Shelby GR1. I can get my first blueprint from there, because I did absolutely none of the Remake event. There's some Fury to be picked up, and I could get the Chiron all the time, but it was incredibly rare. So this is my first refresh since the patch. I'm not sure if that's going to be more common now for credits rather than the actual just needing to use tokens on that. Also, the classic pack has been reworked, say, as of the level 18 one anyway. I noticed immediately that you've got the Vanda Electric's car is gone in there, as well as, yeah, the DBS Super Leggera and Vantage G12. I do not believe that was inside in those packs before. And the Mazda Fury is actually inside in those classic packs as well. At least it is for garage level 18. You just have a shuffle through yourself and take a look and see which actual cars are available. There might be more new cars available inside in those packs that weren't there before for you guys. Before this resets though, I'm gonna get me some Chiron for yeah, just credits. Can never really say no to that. Very close to actually getting that maxed out. I'm not sure if I'll go to full million on that or not. I may leave it for now. I'll see. I'll pop back in a bit. Fury though, those ones are getting bought because yeah, that is like incredibly awesome to be able to pick up 5 blueprints for about 150k or so. And with these trade coins, so it's just going to be one for that you can buy anyway. So may as well start off on my Shelby. Woot! After reset, Aston Martin DBS Super Leggera in my Legends store for credits. So that's at a level 18 garage. You can expect to see those in there for credits. So 126k, 189, $250,000, 300k. and 378. Just if anyone was wondering, the progression of credits for those. So that's pretty awesome. There's a lot of new cars inside the Legend store, so people will be able to get those without, like I said earlier, having to buy import parts. It may even be worthwhile to refresh this for tokens once or twice to buy up things like the Fury and stuff like that inside there, because yeah, I mean, like, that is a 20 token shuffle, and then you'll have a chance to get more stuff inside here outside of the regular re-rolls. I give it a pop for myself just for an example. And Vanda Electrics by shuffling it around, and I could get a Terzo, but that car has kind of been there all the time and I've no real interest in it. But yeah, like I said, you can re-roll that 3 times in a day, and it's like a progressing as well in cost. So 20 tokens for the first one, and then 80. I've never actually re-rolled it beyond the 1 time, but yeah, definitely worth doing at the moment as a place where you can pick up a few extra blueprints if you've got some credits burning a hole in the bank, especially if people have been bot farming out some multiplayer 1. You can see the progression through the 5 Vanda Electrics blueprints as well. But yeah, like I said, definitely your Legend store, not one to be ignored. Like, yeah, keep in mind that the Legend store resets 3 hours after your daily quest reset, then it resets again 6 hours after that, and then it's the last reset is all throughout the day. So 3 resets in a day, and it goes 3 hours, 6 hours, and then the rest of the day. Now, and the last big thing that's kind of been brought in with this season is just the season pass. And the way these work out in games, it's normally more associated with actual free-to-play games, like say Rocket League or Paladins are the 2 games, or Fortnite are the ones where I play, where there's no like pay-to-win elements to it. Say like in Asphalt 9, basically if there's an event which involves a car, you can spend more to have a slightly better version of the car and give yourself that competitive edge in multiplayer or in the rankings. Whereas in free-to-play games like Rocket League, Paladins, or Fortnite, any money that you spend in those is only on cosmetic items. So, like, that's one where Asphalt's, like, being free-to-play isn't quite as free-to-play as some of the other better examples of the genre, really, because yeah, there's only so much you can do without paying in this game, in terms of, like, if there's an event where you can spend an extra couple of €100 and get a 6-star version of a car over everyone else with a 2-star version of a car, then obviously the person with the 6-star who's paid money is going to end up on top of the leaderboards. And yeah, that kind of sucks, but you just have to kind of either ignore that side of mechanics and just pretty much, if people want to what's called whale it out and just spend that money, it's best to just leave them to it. Because yeah, you'll find that sometimes the rewards for those top 1 or 2% places are somewhere in the region of, like, say 1,000 tokens. And 1,000 tokens sounds good until you think of the fact that to get the car up to the level where you might need to get that first place thing, you'll have to spend, you know, literally a couple of €100, and realistically the prizes never really pay off those rewards. So you'd be better off to just, in my opinion, it's what I do, stay relatively free to play and just, yeah, get your rewards for as good as you possibly can with the in-game stuff that's available, rather than spending €100 or €200 to win, you know, an extra 50 tokens, which is worth all of about €5. So yeah, definitely, in my opinion, like, there's not much point in throwing money to try to win back a tiny amount of tokens. But the way these season passes work, if you've never seen one, sadly it's not available in game, but I will just pop it into Paladins and you can see the one inside in that game. Paladins is another amazing free-to-play game on the Switch, and this one is, yeah, like, properly free-to-play. But just in terms of the battle pass, this system has been in this game for absolutely ages. But yeah, the way these battle passes work is generally you've got a pat of, say in Paladins here, you've got like 120 levels in the season, and you've got 2 different pathways along. If you played Fortnite or, like I said, Rocket League or even Paladins before, you will have seen something like this. But the idea behind it is the fact that if you're playing it for free, you will have access to level up the whole way through this, but you will get the stuff that's on the top. So you got your gold rewards and your avatar items, like say epic avatar, some gold, some team boosters, and some of the in-game currency in this, the premium currency. But then it's on the bottom tier of stuff where you get like chests which have skins for, in that case it's the damage dealers, or skins which are exclusive to the individual battle pass, and it'll be somewhat similar to that when it comes to the battle pass of Asphalt 9 Legends. So you're basically, everyone's going to get something out of it, but as you go through your tiers, you'll be basically offered like, oh, did you know that if you just spend some money, you could get access to all of these other things that you unlock? And it's kind of a good way and a bad way, because it's different from just a pure loot box system, because with these battle passes, you know what you'd be entitled to if you buy them, so it's not so much of a gamble. It is just a case of like, if you were to buy this battle pass, you will get access to all of the additional stuff on the underside. I should point out with these battle passes, the very important thing is, if you buy a battle pass, you don't actually get a load of items from it. If you leave a battle pass at level 1 and you buy it, you get absolutely nothing. You have to play the game and actually level up through the pass. So if you were to say get this battle pass in Paladins and be where I am right now, which is level 93, say if this season was to end now, which is in 22 days time, I would not get the rest of the rewards from this, so I'd be missing out on those 30 crystals, and I think it's at 75 at the end, as well as the chests and stuff like that. So like, you would basically, like, you don't get access to the other things. That way it's a really good kind of incentive as well for players to come back and actually play the game, do daily quests, play in multiplayer and stuff like that, just in ways to level up the battle pass and get access to all the rewards. And of course, the thing is, for the people who don't buy the battle pass, like, every time you level it up, the games will often give you a prompt of, hey, you're missing out on some rewards, are you sure you're okay with that? Because you could just give some money. There'll be another way of buying the battle pass as well, which exists usually in games like this, which is here, like, you can buy the battle pass for 600 crystals, or you could buy the battle pass and the first 30 levels of it for 1,500 crystals. 600 crystals, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering, in the currency of this game is about 14 euros. Now, so taking a look here then at the season pass, and keep in mind this is as it was originally when this launched on the global version of it about a year ago. So I'll give a link to this full listing if you want to take a read of it in the description of this video, and pinned in the first comment. But yeah, if you want to see here, down the left hand side is the free version of the pass, and on the right hand side is the paid version. So like, for level 1 of the free, there was nothing. Level 2 of the free, you got 5,000 credits. Level 3 is some Targa blueprints. Now, the LP that's required for those is actually gotten from doing quests with the actual Porsche. Different quests unlocked as the season progressed. And yeah, it was just basically a case of do a race with a Porsche, come first in so many races, or do drifting. And yeah, there was just various like things you needed to do every week to keep on top of the season pass. But you can see the fact that on the left hand side, which is the free stuff, you've got 1 or 2 body parts and some blueprints for the cars. But then down on the right hand side, you actually have over the entire 50 levels of this season pass, there was 1,100 tokens to be earned. So if you think about it, if the season pass costs a tenner, then effectively what you're doing is, for a tenner, you're buying all of the blueprints and the decals, the body parts and stuff like that, and you're getting 1,000 tokens for it. So it's kind of like, the idea behind them is that they pay for themselves. Like, realistically though, if you're willing to play your way through the battle pass, the idea with them is that you know in advance what you're going to get out of it, and then you can pay the money, do the missions, and you get your stuff. And it gives you, like I said, a reason to log in every day and kind of work your way down through it. So you can see there, that's all the parts that are available from the first portion of the Porsche one. If you want to pause the video, or else, like I said, check the link in the description. And there is the second half of the season pass as you would be working your way through it. So you've got actual SLR decals on the free side of things, some Porsche 911 blueprints, some body parts again, 3 import parts, but all the time down the right hand side you've got like Porsche 918, yeah, special rims, rim tires, decals for the McLaren Senna. There's 2 of those actually on the paid portion of it. And yeah, like you can see as you're working the whole way down through there, like at the end of the paid pass, 500 tokens to be had along with 10 blueprints for that Porsche. Like, again, keep in mind the fact that if you buy that season pass and you're looking at that going, wow, that's tons of rewards, I definitely get that. If you play as far as rank 49 on that, and then the next season pass starts, you will never get the final rewards for that. That's just gone when the season ends. So in Paladins, those seasons are like 90 days currently, but coming down to 60 days. So yeah, you just want to make sure and keep it like in mind. If you're not going to be able to play for a period of time during the season pass, or if you play Asphalt casually, you won't get all the rewards from it. You generally have to log in and check the quests that you need to be kind of keeping on top of nearly every day throughout the season pass. So like if you are busy with work or other video games, like these season passes really are just kind of a waste of cash a small bit. What I would suggest is maybe what I'm going to do, buy the first season pass. It's €10, or well, it's presumed to be in the region of €10 or 10 of your local currency, and then see how you work your way through that. And I mean, if it just doesn't work out, it was worth a try. I'm kind of hopeful that it'll at least add something cool to do in the game every couple of days anyway. So yeah, I'm hopeful enough for the first one, but we'll see how it gets on when it gets released and if it's all working. I've noticed 1 or 2 areas in the game are a bit on the shuddery side now. Even with the actual car hunt that's in game right now is a little bit shuddery when you come out into the open area in Rome. So I mean, it's a fairly substantial patch, so there's probably going to be a few teething issues. If you've got any problems with it, like, keep in mind that there will probably be not just you experiencing those. I personally had to empty my cache almost immediately after downloading the thing, because none of the events were showing up correctly, and I'd imagine that's because it was trying to use the old thumbnails for the new events. So just going up to the cog in the top right hand corner from the main menu and just going empty cache storage. That's if you've got your shop or events showing up and they've got download errors and little mistakes and stuff on them there. So hopefully, yeah, things get sorted out in the first couple of days, but it all looks decent so far. Hopefully that season pass comes in without any issues, and by issues I mean for €10 and not for Rimac levels of money, please. But yeah, guys, let us know you're getting on with the new patch and stuff. If there's any questions or anything I've got drastically wrong with this, by the way, because keep in mind the fact that like this is all going off some old information and I may well have some of it like slightly not correct. So please don't kill me too hard if I've gotten something wrong. But yeah, if I have gotten anything drastically wrong, do shout it down in the comments and I'll pin that straight away, guys. And yeah, if this is one of my first videos, or if you're not already subbed to my channel, please do click on the sub button down below, leave a like, leave a comment down below and say how you're getting on, what cars are after appearing in your garage level. Could really help out other people in the community as well. And yeah, like as always, there's a sub button as well up here over my head. My indie review playlists are over there, and there's other videos from me at this side. Hopefully this weekend I'm going to team up with Ziggy on Friday, and we'll be kind of chatting about how we're getting on with the start of this season and do some multiplayer. I'm looking at doing that at around probably 11 or midnight on Friday at GMT, so check what that is in your local times. Alright guys, good luck and drive safe.